What's up everyone, it's Brad with the Hodl fandom. Now, metaverses and NFTs are seeing a significant decrease in popularity amongst the masses. Are NFTs and metaverses dead? Well, this definitely feels like a reset period, with the crypto and NFT prices on Veve reflecting that. Now, I love data to back up my thought process, so I'll give you some key market information that will show the potential paths for both the crypto and NFT side in both the short and the long term. Let's get into it. Metaverses and NFTs are definitely trending downward. If you look at the Google search trends, the data backs that up. It's clear, the general public don't care as much as they did last year. Now, I think there are some very good reasons for this. There are more important things in the news today. People are focused on the war in Ukraine, the economy, and still the pandemic, amongst other things. For those involved in Veve NFTs, Ecomi, and overall crypto in general, this has been felt across the board, regardless of what project you're involved in. Now, I know some people only involved in Ecomi, whether that's the Ecomi token or the Veve NFTs or both, they feel like it's only this project that is dropping, but it is across the board. Now, I want to start with a macro look, a bigger look at the bigger picture. If you want an analysis on the micro, please check out Veve Fox, who is an up-and-coming Veve YouTuber and did a really good job of digging into the data within Veve to show where we might be headed. Now, I'll link her video down below. But let's dig into the macro trends here first, and to paint you the proper picture, let's look at the charts. First, let's show you those Google trends on NFTs and metaverses. They're clearly on the decline after a pretty massive write-up in popularity last year. Again, this makes sense given how the world has changed so far this year, and the focus of the masses has shifted to other things. The thing with NFTs, and to a certain extent metaverses, depending on how NFTs are incorporated into them, they are in general a great use of crypto. One of the best real use cases of having a decentralized automated ledger that can verify ownership of digital assets. Another great use is DeFi. For those that don't know, DeFi stands for decentralized finance and is basically a way to earn income without the use of a centralized third-party entity like a bank. Now, DeFi generally has greater returns than those centralized institutions. This is important because when we dig into the DeFi cycle, we can see some similarities. Let's look at the first pump of DeFi, which was in 2018. This was all the craze back then for anyone involved in crypto. If we pull up the same Google trends on DeFi, you can definitely see that here as well. If you notice, there was also a big drop afterwards. That also correlated with what was happening with cryptocurrency in general. A big shoot up in 2017 and 2018, then a big crash in public interest afterwards. When nobody cares about it, nobody buys, and the prices drop. Let's expand these charts to present day, and I think you know what's happened here. Both DeFi and crypto boomed again, making higher highs and higher lows versus their prior hype cycle. The key question is, what makes me think metaverses and NFTs will have a similar cycle to that of DeFi and crypto? To understand that, let's first dig into why the interest dropped. Now, I touched on one aspect earlier. The world is being hit hard with other things right now that are arguably more important. War, inflation, gas, finances, and getting back to a normal life, whatever normal is these days. As public awareness drops on all of crypto, demand also drops. With metaverses, for a lot of companies, this was just a buzzword that they threw around just to stay relevant. Studies showed that metaverses were going to be a big part of the future, and a very lucrative part of the future. And these companies needed to show to their stakeholders that they're not going to fall behind, that they're going to get their piece of that metaverse pie. For some companies, they are truly building. Disney hired an executive to plan theirs out, but there's a big gap between planning, or the idea stage, and executing. You have to have a plan, hire a team, develop your plan, and then launch and test. Ideally and realistically, that can take years from the idea stage to developing anything tangible. That's why I think, the head start that Ecomi has is extremely important. Anyways, I think that's a part of the lull that we have right now. Everyone was like, yay, metaverses, we're having a metaverse. What now? Well, we gotta plan it out. Hire a development team, build it out, test it, and then launch. That's all behind the scenes. And that's not the exciting part. And people have shifted their focus to the latest hot topic of the week. The same can be applied to NFTs. Everybody and their grandma talked about NFTs. And similar to companies throwing out the word metaverse without really having a solid plan or development, yet of their NFTs, companies like Recur were doing the same thing, selling a pass without really knowing what it's for. In my opinion, that was similar to companies using the word and throwing around the word metaverse. It was just to catch the NFT hype cycle. Now, this isn't meant to be a slight against them. I just want to prove a point. Everyone had an announcement about metaverses and NFTs, something, which is the big and exciting speculation stage. Now, the less exciting stage is planning and early stage development of your actual product. Now, those are some of the reasons in my mind why everything's dropped and interest has dropped, why interest is suppressed. The key here is that these are temporary. As Ecomi and other companies build, as they launch their products and they build that utility, that will all be eliminated, and that will be the start of the next hype cycle. Let's look at the other side of that, not why they dropped, but catalysts for success. And to do that, I want to look at the big difference between DeFi and NFTs. DeFi did see an initial drop in 2018, but also reached higher highs in the following crypto bull cycle. NFTs and DeFi are both great uses of crypto, but are very different. And I do think NFTs have a great chance to follow a similar trend as DeFi. On one hand, DeFi is amazing and will be here to stay. If you run a node, if you're making passive income, that's great. Your returns are so much better than what a bank can offer you, and the sector will continue to grow as people realize this. Here's the thing. NFTs have a mass appeal that DeFi doesn't. You don't hear celebrities talking about their DeFi returns. You don't have basketball players changing their profile picture to that of an Ethereum node. They're talking about NFTs. NFTs have that mass appeal, and that's what makes things go viral. The same thing can be said for metaverses. Companies aren't talking about running nodes, they're talking about creating metaverses. They will be pushed and pumped by these big companies. Now, let me be very clear here. I'm not saying this to put down DeFi. It's a very important staple in crypto, and I actually want to get more into the DeFi side, and I believe it will continue to see big growth in the future. I'm just using this as a comparison to show that the NFT and Metaverse sectors, they have unique qualities, which makes me confident that those sectors and those cycles can at least do what the DeFi cycle did since its first pump and then drop in 2018. Someone a long time ago told me that life is a series of cycles and events. And I think we can establish at this point, crypto, it's not going away. It's not a one-time event. It's one of those cycles, and its greatest use cases will also then move in cycles, like how DeFi has and like how NFTs will. For NFTs, we've just seen the first of many peaks and the first of many valleys. And I think what we can infer from the DeFi and the crypto side is that those peaks and valleys will get higher over time, over the long term, with higher highs and higher lows as the overall crypto space grows. Sure, some of that depends on how businesses grow and develop this space. But we can look at Ecomi and look at the amazing progress that they've had over the past year alone, and they will continue to lead with innovative products. We know other companies are starting to plan theirs out as well, and altogether, that will help trigger the next run. For now, we just need to weather the storm because the cycles already established show us those who hodl win out in the long term. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider liking, subscribing, and following, and I'll see you in the next video.